Today, kindergartners, for our writing lesson, I'm going to start by reading you a book. It's one of my favorites. It is called Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type by Doreen Cronin, pictures by Betsy Lewin. Here is the title page. Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long he hears click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. At first he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible. Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. Then he couldn't believe his eyes. Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. It was bad enough the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets? No way, said Farmer Brown. No electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. They left a note on the barn door. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. No milk today, cried Farmer Brown. In the background he heard the cows busy at work. Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo. The next day he got another note. Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the door. Closed. No milk, no eggs. No eggs, cried Farmer Brown. In the background he heard them. Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. Cows that type? Hens on strike? Who ever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. Farmer Brown got out his typewriter. Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. Duck was a neutral party, so he brought the ultimatum to the cows. The cows held an emergency meeting. All the animals gathered around the barn to snoop, but none of them could understand moo. All night long Farmer Brown waited for an answer. Duck knocked on the door early the next morning. He handed Farmer Brown a note. Dear Farmer Brown, we will exchange our typewriter for electric blankets. Leave them outside the barn door, and we will send Duck over with the typewriter. Sincerely, the cows. Farmer Brown decided this was a good deal. He left the blankets next to the barn door and waited for Duck to come with the typewriter. The next morning he got a note. Dear Farmer Brown, the pond is quite boring. We'd like a diving board. Sincerely, the ducks. Click, clack, quack. Click, clack, quack. Clickety, clack, quack. There they are typing. The end. That was such a good story. Before we go on, though, I thought we could add to our word choice. I saw another word, which is kind of cool, because the word I saw is furious. Now that is a fearless word. if I ever saw one. Farmer Brown was furious. What do you think that means? Well, if you were thinking it means mad, you are right. So the author could have written, Farmer Brown was mad. But that's a nice word. In fact, we have it right here. Mad. But the author chose to use the word furious. I am going to write furious right over here. Furious shows a better picture than just mad, because you could just be kind of mad, but not furious. Furious means you're really mad. So here is another good word that is a fearless word that you might not have thought of, or you might not want to try to write because you don't know how to spell it. But if you just sound it out, it's okay. We probably can read it. I want to make sure I give the author credit. The author is Cronin. So you could add that to your word choice, mad, furious, and the author's name, Cronin. So in this book, the cows are writing letters to the farmer. Dear Farmer Brown. Letters start with the word dear, and they end with something that ends it. We call this the ending. This is the greeting. Sincerely, the cows. Sometimes people say the word love. That would be if you really like the person, like if you're writing your mom or dad. I was thinking that today maybe we should write letters. So the other day I wrote an email to one of my daughters. And the email was asking if she was going to come stay over the weekend, because she lives far away and sometimes she comes and stays at my house. So I wrote this to her a couple weeks ago, and she emailed me right back to let me know that she was coming to the house to spend the weekend with us. So I got a response right back. Now, an email is kind of like a letter. A lot of times we say dear at the beginning, and then we end it with our name and sincerely or love. So in your packet of stuff that I sent you with the writing, you have a paper that looks like this. There's a box for a picture, and then there is some writing lines. You'll notice that this line is short and this line is short, because this is where you would write dear, and this is where you would end your letter. So I was thinking we could write letters to Felix. Felix Felix wrote lots of letters to his best friend Sophie. If you remember, we had all these nice letters. Let's check Felix's letter out. Felix also wrote dear. Ooh, this one he wrote, dear, dear Sophie. He must really like Sophie. Then here is the body of the letter, and at the very end he wrote his ending. Best wishes for you from your Felix, and he signed his name. He didn't write sincerely, he didn't write love, but he wrote a nice letter. So I would like each of you to write a letter to Felix. Now you could ask Felix any question about the book that we read. So you're going to start your letter with dear. Capital D, E, A, R. That is how you spell the word dear when it's a letter. Then we're going to write Felix. Felix is a person's name, so it needs a capital letter. Actually, it's a rabbit's name. Felix. F-E, Felix, comma. Now you can write your letter to Felix. I'm not going to write a letter to Felix because I want to see all of your letters. Maybe Felix will write you back a letter. When you're all done with your letter, at the end, there are probably 2 ways you could end the letter. You could write from and then your name, or you could write love and then your name. So I'm going to write from, that's fur in frog, from, that sounds like a U, from, but it is an O, from, and then your name, Felix, not Felix, whatever your name is, or you could write, instead of writing from, you could write love, of, that sounds like a U also, but it is an O, love, and it has the silent E at the end. When you do this, you also want to remember your commas. So today, I want everyone to write a letter to Felix and give me a nice picture. Before you write, you're going to think about what it is you want to ask Felix. You could ask him how he got from airport to airport. You could ask him about a place that he visited. You could ask him about Sophie. Or you could also tell Felix what you are doing at your house, because Felix was telling Sophie what he did when he was out traveling. You could tell Felix what you were doing at your house that is fun and exciting. So that is your writing assignment for today. Have fun!